Hello, it's Nova. This is the fourth installment of my fall deck series. Previous 3 videos were 15 cozy fall decks, 23 witchy fall decks, and 26 dark decks. And the 3 of them will be linked in the description box. Now this one is my spooky decks. I'm not sure about the exact number of the decks that I'm going to show you guys today. I have a big pile in front of me. I will count them at the end. But let's start first with 3 of them that I'm not going to show you in this video. The Shadowland Tarot by Monica Budirsky, also the Shadowland Lenormand by Monica Budirsky. Both of them are published by Schiffer Red Feather. And Tarot del Toro by Insight Editions. These 3 will be featured in my shadow work video, which is coming after this one. And that video will be the 5th and the last installment of my fall collection series. These 3 are spooky. You probably have seen them. If you have not, just wait for the next video that will be published next week. But although these 3 are very spooky, like they are proper spooky decks for the spooky season, because I use them for shadow work, I kept them to show you in my shadow work video. But because I have them, I wanted to mention them in this video as well. The reason I'm not showing you them in this video too is that I did my best to avoid featuring any deck twice. I have succeeded so far. I have not featured any deck twice. I think that's better because I still had so many decks to show you in each video. Anyways, let's start with this one, the Vampire Tarot, published by US Games many years ago, I think in the 90s. This deck was created and illustrated by Nathalie Hertz. And look at my box. I have used this deck so many times. This is a great vampire deck. I love the art style on this one. Is it in order? Yeah, it is in order because I have made a comparison video between all 3 decks of Nathalie Hertz. I will publish that one too. When the series is done and over, I will publish that video too. And I will then put the link to that video in the description box of this video. So, look at this. Look at this High Priestess. The Empress. The Emperor. Look at the Emperor. You can read the titles, right? I love the Hierophant here. The blood-sucking Hierophant. The religious figures throughout the history. The Lovers, the Chariot. It's really cool. Look at the strength. Oof. This is a nice spooky deck, right? If you want to see the whole deck being compared to another 2 creations of Nathalie Hertz, just stay tuned because that video will be published very soon. Maybe even I can publish it after this one. So I'm not going to show you all the cards. It is pippish. You do have some images in the pips, but it's mostly pippish, like this. It reads really well, like surprisingly well. It's fun. It is unfortunately out of print, but not difficult to find. Next one is the Mythical Creatures Oracle by Sky Saibo. This is an oracle deck about mythical creatures. And this was published by Red Feather, Schiffer. Sky Saibo has done a proper study and research about these mythical creatures from all over the world. Look at this guidebook. A lot of information on each creature. And it is definitely a very interesting book to read. I love the cards. The cards are really cool. Look at these bags, and I've etched them in green. So here you have Kitsune, which is a Japanese creature, and Naga, I think is Indian. Hippocampus, must be Greek. Rainbow snake, satyr, chupacabras. Look how cool. The guidebook explains so beautifully, like it's not only about the information, it's about how to interpret them, how to relate to them. There is such a deep spiritual meaning behind each of these creatures. It's all explained in the guidebook. It's really good. Like, this is one of my favorites oracle decks of all time. It was also featured in my underrated oracle decks video, and I have a proper review video on it, which I will link in the description box for you guys, where I have paired it with other decks and I have shown all the cards, and I have pulled from the guidebook, read a part of the guidebook in that video. So if you want to see more on this deck, check out that video. I am so happy with this one, and it was sent to me by Red Feather for the purpose of review, and I am so grateful for it. Next is Buffy the Vampire Slayer by Inside Editions. This deck was released last year, I think. Guys, I am in love. I really like all the Inside Editions decks, their production quality. Like, look at this guidebook, all in purple and colored images. It's just fun. Look at these boxes, and it's just a fun experience. I really like their cardstock. I know some people don't like this soft buttery cardstock, but I do. Look at my edging. And yeah, I love working with this deck. So this is the story of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the series. And I have never been interested in series, so I don't know these characters. Like, I've never watched it. I tried to watch it, but like in 2 minutes I was done. It's too silly for my taste. But I love this deck. And although this is a fandom deck, and of course it is a lot more joyful if you know the stories, if you know these characters. But even though I don't know these characters, I don't know the stories, I enjoy working with this deck. This deck actually works very well, and I have used it in different types of readings, in different spreads. Guys, all these decks that I'm showing you now are not going back in the shelf. So I will have a lot of decks on my table, but now that I'm looking at this one and I'm looking at the rest of them, I cannot put them back in the shelf. Finally, it's time to work with them, because I am very seasonal with my decks. Look how cool. And by the way, in a large spread, they look so cool because of these borders, and you see, it's just visually very pleasing. Tactile experience is really cool. Look at the borders on this one. I really appreciate this one. The next one from the same publisher, Inside Editions, is Disney Villains Tarot Deck and Guidebook. Again, the same thing. Love the box, love the guidebook. Look at this. Love the cards. I have done an incredible edging again. So this is a pip deck, but the pips are very clever. Like, look at this 5 of Cups. You get the energy, you definitely understand and feel the energy of each pip. Like this one is the Six of Cups, Five of Swords. Not only it's gorgeous and cute and reminds us of our childhood. I mean, who has not watched Disney cartoons when they were a child, right? This is for everybody. I think everybody can enjoy using this deck. But what I was saying is that I have forgotten a lot of these characters, and I have not watched all the Disney productions. I've watched some of them, but it doesn't matter. Treat so well. Like this Two of Swords, it's simple, but it definitely conveys the energy of Two of Swords in the best possible way. Again, buttery cardstock. Who else likes the Inside Edition productions? Because I've heard some people don't like it, but I love it. So this is a very powerful reader. It will surprise you like you would not think. Next is Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas Tarot Deck and Guidebook, again by Inside Editions. And guys, let me tell you one thing. I have ordered Disney Villains Funko and The Nightmare Before Christmas Funko, but they have not arrived yet. And that is very unfortunate. Actually, I've ordered another 3 spooky decks from Inside Editions. The Supernatural Tarot, Universal Monsters, and Necronomicon. And I was counting on having them for the purpose of this video. But it's too late now because we are too close to Halloween and I wanted to publish this video before Halloween. So those decks will be featured in another video later. Anyways, I think so far this is my favorite Halloween deck of all time. These are the backs and look at my edging. The guidebook. The guidebooks are written well. The box and the cards. I really like the depictions, which is the exact same characters, it's the exact same way that are depicted in the cartoon. But also because this deck reads really well. Better than the rest of them. In my experience, of course, but look at it. This is just my thing, you know, this is just my cup of tea. Like, look at this 7 of Candles. So good. And this deck pairs so beautifully with so many other decks. I have paired it on my Instagram with the Witches Familiars Oracle. I am so happy that I'm going to work with this deck again. I mean, I did in the very beginning of fall. I immediately brought it out because this is my favorite. But then I put it away and now today she is going to stay on my desk. Look at this. I watched the cartoon because of this deck, because I like this deck so much that I sat down and watched the whole cartoon. Another gorgeous Halloween spooky deck is the Halloween Tarot, of course. You probably have seen this one before. This was published by US Games a few years ago. One of the things that I like so much about this one is how it shuffles. I didn't do a good job now, but for me mostly because of the riffle shuffle of it and the cardstock. I don't know, there's something about this cardstock. The backs, I love the backs. I love the colors. Absolutely love the colors. I think the most attractive thing about this deck is one, the colors, and two, the details, and how cleverly this gorgeous tarot was created. So you have the bats for the air. Look at this Tower card. 10 of bats. What's happening here? Oh, this was somehow in order, I think. Because I wanted to do a side-by-side between this one and I don't know which one. Don't know anymore. I used to make a lot of side-by-side comparison videos. And I have a playlist in my channel of all my side-by-side comparison videos. This deck is very clever. A lot of interesting details. It reads surprisingly well. I definitely recommend it. It is very beginner friendly. It's mass market. It's gorgeous. I think most of the decks that I'm showing you guys today are mass market. Deviant Moon. Deviant Moon, again, you probably know this deck. By Patrick Valenza. This one is a mass market deck. Again, a very strong reader. And I heard the mini version is going to be released soon. Or maybe it is already released. I'm looking for the bordered version, the one with the white borders, which was the first edition. And I checked the mini version, the mini edition that is going to be released soon, is borderless. So I don't think I will pick it up because it's exactly the same as this one. If it had the white borders, I would have picked it up. But this deck is very intuitive, very talkative, super strong, full of expressions and emotions and body language, and just beautiful. This deck has surprised so many people. Many people didn't want it first, but then finally when they were convinced to buy it and try it out, they were blown away. So this is another spooky deck that I believe is a must, especially because it is mass market. Next, I have for you guys the Occult Tarot by Travis McHenry, published by Rockpool a few years ago. So this deck is a sister deck for the Angel Tarot. And the Angel Tarot looks exactly the same as this one, the box and the whole production, only that one is white. Let me show you. So this was the Angel Tarot by Travis McHenry, and look how cool. So this one is in white and gold, and the Occult Tarot is in black and red. Everything, like this is the guidebook for the Occult Tarot, and this is the guidebook for the Angel Tarot, and with the cards here we have the Occult Tarot, and this is the Angel Tarot. See, but we are taking a look at the Occult Tarot today. So guys, it's not easy to do a standard tarot reading with this deck. You have all the demons here, all the 72 demons that were mentioned in the Book of Solomon, King Solomon's book. These are the demons who helped build Solomon's fortress with their information and everything, with their sigils, a Kabbalistic name, I mean with Hebrew letters, and explanation. Like, for example, for Page of Cups, we have Stolas, teaches astronomy and the values of herbs and precious stones. It is a precious deck. I mean, I really like it, and I have paired it with other tarot decks and oracle decks. And if you read the phrase and the tarot association, you can definitely use it, but mostly in like within a tarot reading with another deck or with oracle cards, or just pull one card and read the guidebook for it, more like an oracle message. But it is very interesting, and because it is mass market, I mean, why not? There's so much research behind this deck. I love Travis McHenry's work. So here's the guidebook, and in the beginning you get all the explanation. Yeah, I really like it. I have used it, although it's not that easy to use. Like, it's not a smooth tarot, but it's fun to use, you know. And I've paired it also with this Angel Tarot. The Mariel, guys, let me bring this to your attention. Like, let me remind you. This is more of a reminder because you most probably have seen the Mariel Tarot. But don't you think this is a spooky deck? I certainly do. I think it's great for fall season. I think it's really good to use for even Halloween readings, for the spooky season, to be paired with other spooky tarot and oracle decks. It has a spooky factor for sure, right? Who agrees with me? Oh, I love this Emperor and this Nine of Cups too. I love every single card here. So don't forget to use the Mariel if you have it during the season. Another incredible deck is Santa Muerte Tarot, Book of the Dead, published by Los Carabello, created by Fabio Lestrani. Quite some time ago. This deck has been out for many years, at least 10 years. The guidebook is short but really well written. And the cards, so these are the backs. This deck always, for me at least, reminds me of Mariel, does the same job as Mariel somehow, although this is a deity deck. I have also used this for deity work, specifically for Santa Muerte. But it is as powerful as Mariel. I think this is one of the most powerful decks in my collection. Very underrated. I love the glossy cardstock. I love these depictions. I have featured the Oracle deck, the Santa Muerte Oracle deck by Fabio Lestrani in another video. I don't know which one. Therefore, I'm not showing it in this video. But that one is also quite spooky because it's full of skeletons, same as this one. But anyways, this is a very powerful reader, as I said. I 100% recommend it. It's mass market, it's gorgeous. Love it. The Dark Mansion Tarot, 4th edition. I have the 4th edition. This was created by Taroteca Studio. So my edition is the glossy one because I know some people have the velvety edition of this deck, but I have the glossy one, and I am so happy that it's glossy because it makes the images pop more good. This fun little deck reads so well. This deck never gets old. So happy with it. Glad to do a few readings with it. As I said, I knew it already when I started the video. I knew that none of these decks are going back in the shelf. So I'm gonna have a lot of decks in front of me now. All the time. Which is okay. I have a really large desk in my office. And I have a lot of room. I can have these for some time so that I can just grab them whenever I want. Oh, another one from Inside Edition. Horror Tarot. Deck and guidebook. Another absolute joy from Inside Editions. And I love the illustrator, Abigail Larson. So this is the guidebook. Look how cool the guidebook is. These are the majors like this, and the minors are like this. This is the inside. I have edged it. All the decks that I'm showing you guys are great readers. They do a fantastic job. Most of them very versatile as well for the type of reading that you want to use them for. This one is pippish, like quite pip, and I have no problem with that. I like using pip decks. The tactile experience of these decks are so good. Here's the Ojula board. Abigail Larson's artwork is made for this time of the year, right? It is about this time of the year. So good. Love everything. I love these borders. Such a great design. Okay. The Tarot of Vampires by Ian Daniels. Published by Llewellyn. Look at this guidebook. This is one of the best tarot guidebooks that I have ever seen. And I have seen many tarot guidebooks. I can tell you, I have taken a look at maybe 350 guidebooks, tarot guidebooks till now. So these are the gorgeous bags, and I have etched them in this beautiful red. This deck is in order. Was published first in the 90s. It is a mass market deck, so go figure. It is 90s art. I'm not necessarily into this artwork. I can appreciate it though, because it takes me back to my youth. But this deck reads really well. And you can ask any other tarot reader who has this deck. Just ask their opinion about this one. Not only the guidebook, but also the cards. It is actually a cool artwork. When you get used to it, like when you use this deck a few times, you start to really appreciate the artwork even. It's its own genre. I mean, this is a genre of art. And it's really cool for tarot reading, actually. So this is again another must, I believe. And I think it is going out of print. Next is another Abigail Larson deck, another Llewellyn Publishing deck, Darkwood Tarot, written by Sasha Graham, art by Abigail Larson. Another incredible guidebook. I mean, Sasha Graham has done a really awesome job. And here in this deck, you get these images large, and it's so cool. I've even thought of framing some of them. And hang them on the wall, or laminating them and using them as huge cards. Like, look how big the cards would be. But I like that. But I'm still thinking of doing something with these large images because they look so cool. And of course, the write-ups are also incredible. And the cards. I have edged this one too. I edge most of my decks. These are the backs. Love the color palette. Besides a lot of other things that I love about this deck. Again, a powerful reader. So spooky and gorgeous. I love the borders. This one is also in mini form. In the tin, I think. I'm thinking of getting it. But there are so many decks on my list. My wish list is so long. That's why I feel bad for buying the deck that I already have just because it's smaller. It just doesn't feel right because of my long wish list. Because then I think, okay, I can go and just get another mass market deck that is on my wish list. Anyways, this is a lot of fun. And actually, you can do really serious readings with this deck as well. So this was the Darkwood Tarot by Sasha Graham, art by Abigail Larson. Next is the New Orleans VooDoo Tarot by Louise Martini and Sally Ann Glassman. I don't have the box here because the box is really huge. This was published by Destiny Books a few years ago. And this is a mass market deck. It is quite spooky. It is actually a very interesting tarot. You have to read the guidebook if you want to work with this deck properly. The images are really cool. Like, I really like this type of art style. I have used this deck quite a few times, and every single time I open the guidebook for every single card because it is very interesting. The whole system is intriguing. I can only say good things about this deck. I'm not an expert at reading it, but I think this is one of the most underrated tarots for many reasons. These images are so deep and so cool. And you see there are different titles for, you have the same suits, like this one is a suit of water, number 5, but the titles are completely different than what we are used to. Like this one is Congo, this one is Rada, the title is Simi, and this one is Ogun Balindio. I love to bring it out during fall. Who has this one? I would really love to know if any of you guys who are watching have this deck and have worked with it, if there is anything special that you know about it that you would like to share. I would like to hear it. This is really a gem. And I've had it for a long time, like 5 years at least. Let me show you the guidebook quickly. So this guidebook, it's very large, like it's this much bigger than my hand, and it has 276 pages. So it explains at the intro about the voodoo concepts and tarot. I remember I read this part when I just received the deck and I was flabbergasted. I should read it again. And yeah, you have a lot of Kabbalistic associations with this voodoo system. It's so interesting. Really well done. The last deck, guys. Patrick Valenza's Trionfi della Luna Paradoxical Rose. I have the illustrated Pips edition. This is the only Deviant Moon edition that I have. I mean, I would love to have all of them, but I live in Europe. It's quite expensive to ship them all here. But this was, I think, my favorite among all of them. You probably have seen at least one of the versions of Trionfi della Luna. If you have not, just check Patrick Valenza's website. It's called the Deviant Moon Tarot. He sells these decks on Etsy as well. This tarot is so powerful. The same as his Deviant Moon tarot. Definitely spooky in a fun way. Very clever. Full of details. This deck has many devil cards. Has a few, I think, judgment cards. I used to work with it. I think I worked with this deck, the last time I worked with it was last year in fall, and only once. It's just because I have so many decks, but I really like this one. It's artistic, it's spooky, it's cheeky, it has a layered sense of humor, you know, like if you pay attention to the details in each card, you can get so much. And I love this color palette. And he has created many different shades of this same deck. Also, you have the pip version of it, because this one is illustrated pips, as you see. But the pip version is also really beautiful. I also want that one. So guys, this was it. Don't forget to watch the last episode of the series, which is coming next week, and that one will be my shadow work decks. And then I have finished my fall series. In total, I think I have shown, with the last one that is not published yet, I think I have shown you guys about 130 decks. All of them fall vibes. Thank you so much for staying with me to the end if you did. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, maybe you want to consider that if you think you want to see more of my videos. And I hope to see you in the next one.